Happy New Year! It's officially 2021. You've made it. 2020 is over. That feels so good, right? Just want to say thank you to all of my new followers and subscribers on Facebook and on YouTube. On this episode of copperagegold, we take a retro look all the way back to 1991. We're talking ToyBiz. We're talking Uncanny X-Men. Yes! As you know, there were some really cool figures ToyBiz released in the early 90s, including this line, Uncanny X-Men. We're going to talk about this figure in particular. This figure is Cyclops. That's right, Scott Summers, an original X-Men. Cyclops and the X-Men were created in 1963 by Jack Kirby and Stan Lee. The X-Men were revolutionary for their time. In the late 70s and early to mid 80s, the X-Men were flourishing again. And it was thanks to some great creators like Chris Claremont, Dave Cockrum, and John Byrne and John Romita Jr., to name a few. The early 90s brought another reboot for the franchise. This time, Chris Claremont and up-and-comer Jim Lee were in charge of the new books. And number one was the best-selling comic book ever. It featured 4 different variant covers, plus a premium edition that you can get. Amazing. They changed the game. ToyBiz wasn't around for long, but boy did they make an impact. They released some great action figures and playsets in the early 90s, all the way into the mid-90s. And then they were taken over by Marvel, and Marvel began releasing Marvel Legends. Let's talk about this guy a little bit more. As you can see on the package, it says laser light eyes. His eyes light up like he would in the comics and in the cartoon. So cool. He even comes with a little computer that they say is Cerebro. I don't know about that, but I'm glad they included something for him to have with his packaging. As we can flip this guy over, we can see all the other cool ToyBiz figures that were being released around this time. So many good figures. Thank you, ToyBiz. Another cool thing about this figure, this is Cyclops' very first action figure. Bing! That's it for this episode of Copper Age Gold. We talked about Cyclops, his very first action figure ever, released by ToyBiz in 1991 as part of the Uncanny X-Men line. Pretty cool, pretty happy to have this guy. Cyclops is a legend, an original X-Men, and definitely deserves a spot in my Hall of Fame. That's it for now. This is Copper Age Gold saying see you in the toy aisle.